Greetings all. Today we're explaining the 20 Space Marine legions of the Imperium and Chaos. Of all the sprawling, intricate lore within the vast universe of Warhammer 40,000, there is no story more central, more foundational than that of the Space Marine legions. To understand them is to understand the very soul of the setting. As a long-time chronicler of this dark millennium, I've found that every major conflict, every hero and every villain can trace its lineage back to these 20 legendary brotherhoods. They were the architects of a golden age and the harbingers of its apocalyptic end. They were demigods clad in ceramite, forged in the gene labs of Luna by the Emperor of Mankind himself to be the vanguard of his great crusade. Each was led by a Primarch, a genetically engineered superhuman son of the Emperor, and each legion was a reflection of his father's martial philosophies and cultural eccentricities. Before we delve into the individual histories, it's essential to acknowledge the two great mysteries. The 2nd and 11th Legions, along with their Primarchs, were expunged from all Imperial records, long before the galaxy-spanning civil war that would define the Imperium. What fate befell them, what sin they committed to warrant such an absolute erasure, remains the subject of whispered conjecture and forbidden lore. Their absence is a haunting reminder that even in its infancy, the Emperor's grand design was not without its catastrophic failure. Let us begin with those who remained loyal when the galaxy burned. The 1st Legion, the Dark Angels, were the prototype, the first of the Emperor's great hosts. Led by the stern and brilliant strategist Lionel Johnson, they were masters of all forms of warfare, operating with a ruthless knightly efficiency. During the Horus Heresy, the Lions' campaigns kept many traitor forces occupied far from Terra, but their greatest tragedy occurred on their own homeworld of Caliban. A portion of the Legion turned to chaos, and in the ensuing battle, their world was shattered. In the 41st millennium, the Dark Angels and their successor chapters, collectively known as the Unforgiven, are defined by this ancient secret. They relentlessly hunt their fallen brethren, known simply as the Fallen, maintaining a monastic secrecy that often puts them at odds with the wider Imperium they are sworn to protect. The recent miraculous return of Lionel Johnson himself has only deepened these complexities, forcing the Legion to confront its shadowed past in an age of unprecedented crisis. The 5th Legion, the White Scars, were a force unlike any other. Led by the stoic and fiercely independent Jagadai Khan, they were masters of lightning-fast assault, a horde of bikers and jet bike riders who valued freedom and swift action above all else. During the heresy, their nomadic culture made them difficult to Horus to sway, and after a period of uncertainty, the Khan led his warriors on a desperate race to Terra, arriving to play a crucial role in the defense of the Imperial Palace. Today, the White Scars remain the undisputed masters of high-speed warfare. They strike like lightning from the storm, bringing ruin for the Emperor's foes before quickly vanishing as they appeared. Their storied traditions and profound wisdom are stark contrast to their savage appearance in battle. Following them are the 6th Legion, the Space Wolves of Fenris, commanded by the boisterous and ferocious Leman Russ. They were the Emperor's executioners, a legion of sagas and superstitions who embraced a warrior culture that appeared barbaric to their more disciplined brothers. Their path in the heresy was paved in tragedy, beginning with their reluctant assault on the 1,000 Sons of Prospero, an act which pushed the Brother Legion into the arms of chaos. Despite this, they fought with unparalleled savagery at the Siege of Terra. In the current era, the Space Wolves eschewed the strictures of the Codex Astartes, operating in great companies that followed the traditions of Fenris. They are the untamed protectors of humanity, ever ready to answer the call to war with a great howl and the baring of fangs. The 7th Legion, the Imperial Fists. The 7th Legion, the Imperial Fists, were the bulwark against which empires broke. Under their stoic Primarch Rogel Dawn, they were the masters of defensive warfare and siegecraft. As the Praetorians of Terra, as the Praetorians of the Emperor, their greatest and most terrible duty was the fortification and defense of the Imperial Palace during the Horus Heresy. They held the line against unimaginable odds, their black and gold armor a symbol of unflinching resolve amidst the fires of betrayal. Their legacy of stoic sacrifice defines them still. The Imperial Fist and their numerous successors, like the fanatical Black Templars, are renowned for their stubbornness, their mastery of bolter drill, and their unshakable faith in the face of certain death. They are the unbreakable shield of the Imperium. The Blood Angels, the 9th Legion, were the image of angelic perfection, yet they were cursed with a hidden flaw. Their Primarch, the beatific and noble Sanguinius, was beloved by all, a vision of hope in a darkening age. During the Siege of Terra, Sanguinius' sacrifice in his duel with the arch-traitor Horus is one of the Imperium's most sacred legends. His death, however, psychically scarred the entire Legion, creating the twin curses of the Red Thirst and the Black Rage, which drive his sons to bloodlust and madness. In the 41st millennium, the Blood Angels are tormented heroes. They are artists and artisans who create works of profound beauty, yet on the battlefield they fight with a desperate ferocity to control the beast within, forever haunted by their father's final moments. The 10th Legion, the Iron Hands, were forged in the crucible of their unforgiving homeworld, Medusa. Their Primarch Ferrus Manus instilled in them a contempt for physical weakness and an obsession with logic and mechanical augmentation. This strength became their undoing when Ferrus was among the first Primarchs to be slain during the heresy, betrayed and beheaded by his once closest brother Fulgrim. This cataclysmic loss instilled a cold, burning hatred in the Iron Hands that has never faded. Now they are grim and merciless warriors who seek to purge all weakness, both from themselves and their enemies. They replace their flesh with cold steel, believing the machine to be pure, and prosecute their wars with a cold, logical fury that is terrifying to behold. No legion exemplifies the ideals of the Imperium more than the 13th, the Ultramarines. Guided by their peerless statesman and strategic Primarch, Roboute Guilliman, they were empire builders, masters of logistics, and practitioners of balanced, flexible warfare. During the heresy, they were lured into a devastating trap on Calth by the Wordbearers, but Guilliman's brilliance allowed them to rally and form the temporary bastion of Imperium Secundus, holding the Eastern Imperium together. In the aftermath, Guilliman's Codex Astartes became the foundational text for organizing the Space Marines into smaller, more manageable chapters. For 10,000 years, the Ultramarines have been the paragons of this code. With the recent return of Guilliman to lead the Imperium as its Lord Commander, they have once again become the central pillar of humanity's defense against a hostile galaxy. The Salamanders, the 18th Legion, have always been the most humanitarian of the Space Marines. Their Primarch, the compassionate giant Vulcan, taught them a deep reverence for humanity and the sanctity of the Forge. Nearly annihilated during the Dropsite massacre at Istvan V, the Salamanders endured through sheer resilience and an unquenchable desire to protect the innocent. This creed continues in the 41st millennium. Unique among Space Marine chapters, the Salamanders live among the people they protect on their volcanic homeworld of Nocturne. They are master craftsmen who wield master-wrought weapons, and they are defined by their use of flame and melter weaponry, and their willingness to sacrifice themselves to save even a single civilian life. Finally, among the loyalists, we have the 19th Legion, the Raven Guard. Their Primarch Corvus Corax was a master of stealth, subterfuge, and liberation. The Raven Guard freed worlds from the shadows, striking with precision and fading away before the enemy could retaliate. Like the Salamanders and the Iron Hands, they suffered horrific losses at Istvan V. Corax spent much of the heresy rebuilding his shattered legion and waging a brilliant guerrilla war against the traitors. Today, the Raven Guard are still the masters of covert operations. They favor jump packs, surgical strikes, and decapitating enemy command structures, using speed and shadow as their greatest weapons, forever proving that the Emperor's justice can be delivered unseen and unheard. But for every tale of loyalty, there is a mirror of damnation. The traitor legions are a testament to how the greatest strengths, when twisted, become the most profound weaknesses. We begin with the 3rd Legion, the Emperor's Children, led by the resplendent Fulgrim. They were perfectionists, artisans of war who strove for excellence in all things. This pride was their downfall. Seeking to transcend the limits of their mortal senses, they fell into the clutches of the chaos god Slanesh, the prince of pleasure and excess. They became debased hedonists, finding artistry in torture and music in screams. In the 41st millennium, the Emperor's Children are a plague of depravity upon the galaxy. Their noise marines wield sonic weapons that blast their foes apart with a cacophonous sound, and their quest for new and ever more extreme sensations, the 4th Legion, the Iron Warriors, were the grim counterparts to the Imperial Fists. Led by the bitter and resentful Perturabo, they were masters of attrition and siege warfare, sent to fight the ugliest, most thankless campaigns of the Great Crusade. Feeling unappreciated and used by the Emperor, Perturabo's simmering resentment was easily exploited by Horus. The Iron Warriors turned their siegecraft against the Imperium, becoming the tireless architects of Horus's fortifications. They remained so 10 millennia later, a legion of cynical, paranoid engineers of death. They garrisoned demon worlds, building impossible fortresses, and grind their enemies down with overwhelming impersonal firepower, their hatred for their old rivals, the Imperial Fists, burning as hot as their forged fires. The 8th Legion, the Night Lords, were born in the perpetual darkness of their homeworld, Nostramo. Their Primarch, the haunted and prophetic Comrade Curse, believed in justice through absolute terror. They used fear as their primary weapon, broadcasting screams and displaying mutilated corpses to break their enemies' morale before the battle even began. But terror without hope curdled into sadism, and the Legion degenerated into a pack of sadistic murderers who joined Horus not for glory, but for the freedom to indulge in their darkest impulses. In the current era, the Night Lords are fractured into countless warbands of pirates and reavers. They serve no chaos god, fighting only for themselves and the sheer pleasure of inflicting pain and terror upon the weak. The 12th Legion, the World Eaters, were defined by rage. Their Primarch Angron was a broken gladiator king, his mind mutilated by archaeotech pain engines known as the Butcher's Nails. These devices were implanted into his legion, transforming them from disciplined warriors into frothing berserkers who lived only for the kill. Their fall to the blood god Khorne was a lesser seduction and more inevitability. They became the shock troops of the heresy, a wave of unstoppable, unthinking violence. Today the World Eaters are little more than beasts of war. They are the Khorne berserkers, charging headlong into battle with chain axes roaring, their only desire to spill blood and take skulls for their god. The recent re-emergence of the demon Primarch Angron has galvanized them into an even greater threat, a tide of pure rage washing across the stars. The 14th Legion, the Death Guard, were known for their implacable resilience. Their Primarch Mortarion, raised on a toxic world, taught his sons to endure any hardship. They were masters of chemical and infantry warfare, marching stoically through the deadliest war zones. Their fall was a tragic one. Tricked by his first captain and stranded in the warp, Mortarion watched his sons succumb to an excruciating warp-borne plague. In his despair, he pledged his legion to the Chaos God Nurgle in exchange for an end to their suffering. They were reborn as the Plague Marines, bloated vectors of disease who feel no pain. The Death Guard now marched to spread the bountiful gifts of their pestilent god, their advance slow, inexorable, and utterly unstoppable. The 15th Legion, the Thousand Sons, were a legion of scholars and psychers led by the Cyclopean Magnus the Red. Their quest for knowledge and mastery of the warp was their defining trait, but it was seen as dangerous and heretical by much of the nascent Imperium. In a tragic series of miscalculations, Magnus attempted to warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal using forbidden sorcery, inadvertently shattering the Emperor's greatest secret project. This led to their censure and the burning of their homeworld Prospero, driving the shattered survivors into the arms of Tzeentch, the chaos god of change and sorcery. In the 41st millennium, the Thousand Sons are beings of dust and sorcery, a powerful rubric spell cast by their chief sorcerer to halt the rampant mutations in the Legion turned the rank-and-file Marines into mindless automata, their souls sealed within their power armor. Now they serve the whims of the demon Primarch Magnus and their powerful sorcerers, forever scheming to reshape reality itself. It was the 16th Legion, once the Lunar Wolves, who were renamed the Sons of Horus and who stood at the heart of the betrayal. Led by the charismatic and brilliant War Master Horus Lupercal, they were the tip of the Great Crusade spear, the most honoured of all legions. But Horus's pride, his ambition and his insidious whispers, and the insidious whispers of chaos, led him to turn against his father in a bid to reclaim the galaxy for himself. He was the arch-traitor, the catalyst for the entire civil war. After Horus was slain by the Emperor, his legion tore itself apart in shame and in fighting. From these ashes, the most ambitious survivor, Abaddon the Despoiler, reforged them into the Black Legion. For 10,000 years, the Black Legion has been the greatest single threat to the Imperium, the embodiment of chaos undivided, continuing the long war that their fallen Primarch began. The 17th Legion, the Word-Bearers, were the true originators of the heresy. Their Primarch Lorgar Aurelian craved a faith to believe in and originally worshipped the Emperor as a god. When the Emperor rebuked him of this, a humiliated Lorgar sought out a new darker power to venerate. They became the first legion to secretly fall to Chaos Undivided, spreading their corrupting faith throughout the other legions and orchestrating the events that led to Horus's fall. They are the Zealots and Apostles of Chaos. In the 41st millennium, the Word-Bearers are a dark mirror of the Imperial faith, their dark apostles preaching the gospel of the ruinous powers and summoning demons to the battlefield. They fight not just for conquest, but to convert the galaxy to their unholy creed. Lastly, there is the 20th, the Alpha Legion, the most enigmatic of all. Commanded by the twin Primarchs Alpharius and Amigon, they were masters of espionage, misdirection, and infiltration. Their methods were so secretive that their true allegiance during the heresy remains a fiercely debated topic. They officially sided with Horus, but claims persist that they were operating as a triple agent, seeking to destroy chaos from within. The truth is a maze of lies and contradictions. The Alpha Legion in the 41st millennium is a fractured network of independent cells. They infiltrate imperial institutions, arm rebellions, and carry out acts of terrorism for reasons known only to themselves. Their motto, Hydra Dominatus, and their common refrain, I am Alpharius, speaks to their decentralized, unknowable nature, a constant and unpredictable threat lurking within the Imperium's own borders. From the stoic defense of the Imperial fists to the zealous hatred of the Word-Bearers, the legacies of these 20 brotherhoods are pillars upon which the entire narrative of Warhammer 40,000 is built. The Horus Heresy is not merely a historical event, it is a wound that has never healed, a psychic and spiritual schism that still dictates the fates of trillions. With the galaxy split in two by the Great Rift and the Primarchs walking among their sons once more, the echoes of that ancient war now thunder louder than ever. The long war continues, and the sons of the Emperor, both loyal and damned, are still at its very heart. This archive has now been fully decoded. Continue your journey into the librarium with the video displayed on screen. The vast wealth of the archives continues to reveal new knowledge of the dark history of the 40K verse. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.